a good visual for you.
Yep.
Does it work through the bag okay?
Yeah.
All right. So, ready? Ready now?
I'm ready now.
Okay, here we go. Spinal cord is for communication. The central canal in the center of the spinal cord contains CSF. The medulla oblongata is in this area here for autonomic heart rate and respiratory rate. The pyramids are a crossing over point of ascending tracts of nerves. The pons located in this area is also for heart rate and respiratory rate. The ventricles, there is a lateral ventricle right here. That groove makes and stores CSF. The interventricular foramen leads CSF to the third ventricle in this area. Maybe that crack right there, you can indicate that. Then we have a cerebral aqueduct which comes over and down to the fourth ventricle, which is right there up underneath the cerebellum. All of those make and store CSF. Septum pellucidum is a thin tissue which separates the lateral ventricles. The arbor vitae is the white matter in the cerebellum. Balance and equilibrium. Arbor vitae is for fast movement. The gray matter is called the folia for slow movement and posture. The superior and inferior cerebellar peduncles, one on each side of the fourth ventricle, are communication between cerebellum and brainstem. Corpora quadrigemina is this area here. They're made up of 4 nuclei. The superior colliculus is a reflexive turning of the head and neck to a visual stimulus. The inferior colliculus is a reflexive moving of the head and neck toward an auditory stimulus. The tectum is the area where that is located. The cerebral peduncle, approximately right here at that groove before this, right there, is the center of gravity of the brain. The thalamus is this round area here. It is the relay station. The intermediate mass of the thalamus, directly in the center, it's not a texture or color difference, but it's in the center of the thalamus, is the communication between thalamic hemispheres. Hypothalamus is below the thalamus, and it is the master gland. The pineal gland is this dark spot. It secretes 2 hormones, serotonin and melatonin. The pituitary gland would hang down below the hypothalamus. It contains a lot of, or it produces a lot of hormones. The sulci, I'll turn this around. Sulci are the grooves. The gyri are the bumps, and that increases the capacity for intelligence of the animal. Longitudinal fissure is where I cut down, giving you a left and right hemisphere. Falx cerebri is like this bag, a continuation of the dura mater into the longitudinal fissure for protection. Tentorium cerebelli is a continuation of the dura mater into this transverse fissure here for protection. The central sulcus would separate frontal and parietal lobes. The lateral sulcus would separate parietal and temporal lobes. The parietal occipital sulcus would separate parietal and occipital lobes. The corpus callosum is above this tissue, above the lateral ventricle, and it is communication between hemispheres of the brain. Female of any mammal species has a larger one. The fornix is the lower area below the lateral ventricle here, and that is the emotional sense of smell. The 3 meninges for protection are dura mater, then underneath that is arachnoid mater. Pia mater is directly on the brain, which has blood vessels. The optic chiasm is for vision, crossing over point of optic nerves. The olfactory bulb and tract here is for smell. This is the frontal lobe. Here, let's do it on this side. The frontal lobe is motor. Parietal lobe is for sensory, temporal lobe is hearing, occipital lobe is for vision. Okay.